that the Supreme Court is reserving judgment. So let's leave that aside. But
as adduced by his opponents, then let the Supreme Court do justice and say, Tinubu, you are guilty. Now, it is not a question of whether it has been overtaken by time or not. Are you getting it? Now, it is, number one, at what point in time did you submit the certificates? Are you getting it? And did you actually violate the Constitution of Nigeria? Don't forget, also there's what we call perjury. That is if you lie under oath.
because he's a graduate, he couldn't have lied on that oath.
Well, that is what this thing seems to be like. They don't forget, the Supreme Court says the certificates tendered are variance.
Yeah.
So what does that mean?
Two different ones. They said they don't know which of them to accept.
Please allow me to talk. They don't know which one to accept.
Yes.
And they all emanated from where?
The same school.
And the same
person in it.
So what does that imply? There is forgery somewhere. Now, like Justice Maldonado did. Are you getting it? When an American, when she saw the gravity and she saw that the time was going to be, the time was elapsing, she said, look, you better release this results before Tuesday. Are you getting it? She did not reserve judgment. The expectations of Nigerians are, if the president is guilty, please pronounce it. That's good. And if he's not guilty, come out plain. I recall years ago when President Buhari was trying to remove Walter Onogen. Walter Onogen went to court severally. And after a while, the court will say, we'll reserve judgment. And after the whole incident passed by, the court now said his removal was at variance with the Constitution. So please.
But he was already removed.
The deed has been done.
Yeah.
You see, so Nigerians, so they judge. They say the judiciary is the last hope of the common man. But the judiciary, unfortunately, is actually making a mockery of Nigeria by the way it is come rightly or wrongly. And Nigerians are expecting that the judiciary should be bold enough to say things, to see it black and white or black and blue the way it is.
I'll come to Femi Oyelola now. The perspective to all of this.
Okay, yes, thank you very much. You see, first of all, I want to believe there's not anything like the saga in this matter. The saga, the matter on the land is the matter of the law. And the law has to take its course. And when we are talking of judiciary, judiciary is a two-edged sword.
Yes.
The fact that doesn't suit it today, suit your A, doesn't mean they are biased, they are not doing their work. Nigeria should begin to know that the judiciary is two-edged sword. It can swing to any place. Now, in a process, the legal system is a process emanated from Rome. We, as media practitioners and learned people, should be able to inform the public rather than inform them not to confuse them. And convince them to know the truth on the ground and not convincing them more about what is on the ground. In the process of law, if you have a criminal case like Justice as said just during the hearing in the Supreme Court, he said a criminal case has to prove beyond a reasonable doubt before it can even accept it. And that is done where? In the court of law, not in a tribunal. Now, if you want to prove this case, like my colleague said, if you file a motion and you detect that something is switching or forgery, you don't go to sleep and expect somebody to go. You prepare a case through the proper channel, through the process. We have a process of law in Nigeria. You can tell me history, you can give me quotation from anywhere. The process 1999 Constitution still remain our standard and still remain our guidance. And anything that did not emanate from that Constitution can come from that, coming from any part of the country. It's not part of our system. Now, when the Supreme Court, what we expected from the Supreme Court is that the Supreme Court should perform their duty as at the prayer sought by the party in the case. And that prayer should go back to the tribunal. What are you looking for? Let me use the case of Kaduna State. One of the gubernatorial aspirants said, I did not seek for prayer of a rerun election. So why are you giving me a rerun election? It's not part of my prayer. I want you to return my mandate back. And he went to appeal against that. So a prayer that is in the judicial system that is not being sought for cannot come up and emanate from the group and be added to it. That is the process of law. And when you get to that process, the Supreme Court only are to look at what has been pronounced from the tribunal, the appeal court, and to them. Is there any way the learned judge error in making this pronouncement? That is why it is always in what do you call it? 3, 5, and 7 numbers. So that is always, it cannot be an even number.
Yes,
It's an odd number. So at the 7 judges cannot all come together and they cannot be wrong at the same time. So they have to be odd number. Now these 7 judges have to look at this judgment from the appeal. This learned 5 appeal judge, do they err in passing this judgment? Is this judgment in line with the Constitution? Is this judgment in line with 2022 Electoral Act? In all these things, you look at it.
Okay.
Then not also forget one aspect that we are looking, the technicalities of law, of our judicial process. Now, the issue of bringing an evidence to a Supreme Court at this time of time, it is a technical issue. Which
it is not wrong.
It is not wrong.
It's a technical issue.
And the court admitted it. Yes, I'm sure they would have dismissed it.
No.
No, it's also a technical issue depending on the way.
What they said is this: in every court, you have the right to present a matter before the court. Doesn't mean if I accept your matter, I also accept your listen to that.
It's not wrong.
Really, it is the right of the court for every Nigerian. This constitution giving that right to present a matter before the court. A man who kills today, if you present it before the court, he will claim innocent of the crime. I'm not guilty of this. You mean even with evidence, video evidence, before the court will not say, I let it condemn it.
So why reserve the judgment? That is what.
No, that is the process of law.
That's the process of law. Reserving it. Why the delay? They are the only ones that can tell us. Folorunso.
Thank you, sir. I'm happy this issue had come up once again. So I like what my colleague has said, that as media men, we are supposed to convince the people, not to confuse the people. Some of us have opportunity to have been in this system since 1979. So we led to Lagos because of Oyelola, and he lost the election because of technicalities.
Yeah.
And I remember the word was each of the 19 states of Nigeria. Professor Chike brought a blackboard. He was talking the whole English in the whole world. At the end of the day, the Supreme Court judge said, "What to now?" It is 12 to 12. So it is not about Man United versus Man City. It is a statistical standard. The fact is that what you then present at the lower court, you can't present it at Supreme Court. You can present it, but if you are presenting, they will accept it on technical basis. They will use their own idea, either to consider it or throw it away. And secondly, if they reserve their judgment, these are learned men that all of them are almost 70. You don't expect them to act like
22 years old
of shooting stars. Man United will win, Liverpool will win. So they have to take their time. That's the meaning of reserve judgment. And secondly, I'm sorry, I'm not a lawyer, but the little I know that I passed through in life, you cannot accuse somebody of fakery when you are not in possession of the original. That is why I tell some people it is wrong for some security agents to be asking for driver's license on the road. Apart from Road Safety Corporation,
that knows the original.
The person that is accusing Tinubu of faking CSU certificate, does he have the original? And in America, once you lost your certificate, they don't replace it. You go to this one. What's the name? What's the name?
Oluwole. American version of Oluwole.
There's Oluwole Kaduna yet. You know?
I don't know.
There's Oluwole now. We have been in this.
All right.
I have a question.
Okay, ask your question.
I mean, I have an observation. You see, the two of you, please don't be always putting journalists on the spot when they are not supposed to. A journalist is supposed to bring out in plain terms what he has seen, whether against or for. Are you getting it? So please, it's only deemed political when a journalist comes out with what he has seen, and the other person starts saying a journalist supposed, it is the language of the government.
Okay,
Let's
I'll
take
still
that.
come to your mic on that. Every journalist cannot say things in one direction.
In one, yes.
So that issue
yes,
of
but you don't put the journalists on the spot. That journalists, I'm telling my tool that they are not supposed to be inciting. The journalist is not inciting.
I do not. I
say,
don't.
I will not have
I
no, no, no,
I
no,
don't.
no,
I don't perceive
that word. I heard them say the
your
journalists are not supposed to
perception. You
No,
perceive
you
it to be
said so.
inciting, but I don't perceive
No,
it
you said
that
the
way.
journalists are
Yes,
not supposed to.
but you cannot say that it is inciting.
Yeah, that's not what they said. They said journalists are not supposed to.
So we know it. They didn't use the word inciting.
No, me too. I take an exception when they say journalists are confusing. What is confusing here?
The
The fact is, from what a lot of people have said, even this morning, journalists, no, excuse me, let me say, right from Arise, right from others, they are saying, why the wait? Why put Nigerians on the spot?
That's their own
That's their own
Are they now confusing
Excuse me, sir.
Nigerians?
Excuse me,
Are they
let me
confusing
ask
Nigerians?
Mr. Mike.
And excuse me, let me, and Nigerians
Most of
are,
time factor,
like
let me quickly-
we have time.
this very certificate saga has run for long.
Oh, sorry, sir.
Nigeria's interest, Nigeria, if you go out now, if you're a Nigerian, they look at you somehow. Let the Supreme Court do justice to this thing and end it now. Not that we are saying we are, according to Nigerians, we are waiting, we are reserving judgment. And now when you say these people are 70 years, they are 90 years. And the people over there that also made these laws, in those days, that are passing these laws, how old are they? That the ones this thing. And let me tell you again, there is what is in 1962. You understand? Before now, the judiciary of Nigeria was under what we call the Privy Council. Yeah, you understand? And when our Nigerians discovered that, the incumbents discovered that cases may go against them, they removed it and created the Supreme Court of Nigeria under the Republican district. And since that time, that was why when this